What's up, Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro. Today, we're going to be talking about the state of the movie theater. And, let's just kind of like a favorite pastime of us as a collective. We love going to the movies and stuff like that, but it's hard to imagine that it is not under attack, the whole theater going experience. It costs way too damn much. The concessions cost way too damn much. And if that ain't bad enough, you ain't hardly ever got any time to go check anything out because they're going up right on the streaming within like 30 days, it seems like. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also talk about the latest news from a new, just announced MCU movie show, TV show that's coming back, and we're also going to be talking about the Acolyte and previewing a clip that came up on that clip. Joining me as always today is my friends, the great Adam Kuji and GQ. What's up, fellas?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight?
How is everything?
Not bad. Good to see Wolverine Solid X is over there checking in as always. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you being here right now. But yeah, how was everybody's week? Dido's got Street Smart over there in the background.
Slippery Sam Santana.
Mm-hmm. It was nice kind of hanging out with the fellas last weekend. At his house. What did we end up? We ended up watching the last Kumite.
The last Kumite.
The last Kumite was.
It was a movie.
It was entertaining. It was a movie. It was entertaining. Let's just put it like the last Kumite was very entertaining. Let's just.
It had its moments, but it was kind of ridiculous.
It did. It was fine. I mean, what did we like about the movie, and what did we not like about the movie? Maybe that's what we should leave with.
Oh well, mainly it was the acting because all of them were former stunt people that really didn't know how to act, and like Cynthia Rothrock, for example, in a lot of those Hong Kong action films, pretty sure unless she speaks, Cantonese, they were probably dubbing her over, and she just had to do most of her fighting or whatever. So she may not have had to do voice acting too much because they would dub it over. But Billy Blank's expression, that shit was, and my man eating that eyeball, like what the hell?
Oh, the eyeball thing. Oh, the eyeball thing was, oh man, that was.
Billy Blanks is turning that into Reaction the movie.
Yeah,
man,
that's
Reaction.
all he was doing.
Right.
And then again, I forgot my man's name, the big tall blonde dude. But him jumping off of that stage, dog. the cut they chose to go with was like, because you know how they do, in Hollywood. It's like, okay, for example, when like Winter Soldier jumped off of the bridge or whatever. Obviously, he jumps off of a box, and they just they film him landing.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to show that off of like a 3-foot stage. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yo, man, it looked like he jumped off the height of a step. Onto the stage below him,
like, okay.
But he went like this, like threw his hands
right,
up
like
and
he was
jumped.
about to free
It was
fall.
like what? Yeah, I was like, what?
Say, what are you doing, bro?
He must have had bad knees, bad ankles, bad everything. He's like, look, I ain't doing it.
Yeah,
like stunt man. You are the stunt man.
Exactly.
The plot left a whole lot to be desired, but then again, you think about it, you can say a lot about a lot of those 80s martial arts flicks that we loved as kids. But
speaking of martial arts movies, I know Dido ran into Wesley Snipes at one of the casinos here. How long ago was that? About 15 years? Maybe
that was a while ago. It's been a while.
Here's the funny thing. On one of my movie pickups, I found the movie that he was filming.
Oh, really?
In Detroit. It's called Game of Death. Funny enough. But yeah, filmed in Detroit, all local stuff. Most of it takes place actually down at the DMC, which is the Detroit Medical Center, for those that don't know. Plenty of overhead shots of, the city, major landmarks and whatnot, but it is legitimately filmed in Detroit. It's not one of those show some stuff and then go back to LA and film, a lookalike.
Filming in Bucharest.
All downtown Detroit. I was like, wow. So it was just funny because it was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that must be why he was here, and that's why you probably ran into him that one time.
Yeah, it could be. We're gonna have to watch that movie.
I'll bring it over so you can see it. It was just funny because it was just like, wow, all that came back together. It was like, that makes sense now. That would be about the timeline.
Yeah. Shout out to Preem, who just re-upped his sub for 32 months.
32 months.
Oh, and
Happy birthday to you, sir.
I was gonna ask if he wanted us to say that out there, but
Hey, we ain't got to tell him his age, but we
I think he
celebrate
put
him
it on
being
his
here.
Facebook, I believe. So
He
happy
did.
birthday to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we
Big
ain't gonna
King
put out his
Amarak
age.
checking in.
King Amarak, good to see you, sir. You should definitely pop back into the show. Sooner rather than later, sir. We
Get that VH1 behind the music look going again.
That was so cool when he did that.
Heck yeah.
That was so cool. That was
I'm
so
sitting there
cool.
like I remember back when I used to sing with the Drifters.
ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah, but so getting back to it, obviously this was kind of a light week. There was no X-Men 97. A few things kind of popped off here and there. Obviously the ongoing conversation of the Assassin's Creed thing. We're not going to touch that because that's been done to death everywhere.
I want to touch it a little bit because
go ahead.
I find, and I know we touched on it last week when it first dropped, but I find the sudden backlash from the Black community talking about, oh, don't pander to us. It's like, it's not even about pandering. He's a historical character. Now, whether he was a full-fledged samurai or retainer or whatever you want to throw on it, Assassin's Creed has never been about true historical accuracy at all.
Right.
So he was somebody that was there. Making him a samurai for me is fine. I don't have a problem with it. Again, I'm not part of his family. It happened hundreds of years before I was even thought of or even born. And then, people are like, well, we waited for a Japanese Assassin's Creed all this time, and then they're going to give us a Black main character and a Japanese. It's like, well, there's a Japanese main character. She happens to be a girl. Get over it.
No way. Yeah.
And guess what? We've had, a bunch of Japanese themed games. Ronin, I'm saying Rise of the
Ronin.
And
just came out.
Right. Ghost of Tsushima. I think we're covered. Yeah. Assassin's Creed, just because they haven't done their version of go to Japan, be a Japanese samurai, blah, blah, blah. So what? There's 2 other games that let you do it. I own both of them. I will be playing this one as a Black samurai with a female sidekick that will go through her quest once I'm done. It's like they're acting as if it's like, oh, it's going so woke. It's dude. They took a real person, amped up his story, made a game about it. That's what they do.
And it's not the first time he's been in a game either.
Exactly. Like he was in, what was it, Samurai Warriors 2, I think right?
It was Samurai Warriors and it was something else too. I forget.
He was a Neo as well. He was in Neo too.
That's it.
And the fact that Team Ninja, a team of Japanese developers, said he was a samurai ends the argument. But beyond that, if you're all waiting for Assassin's Creed to do their spin on something that, if we're keeping it a buck, has already been done, when they were first asking for an Assassin's Creed in Japan, that was like 10, 12 years ago. Since that time, we've gotten Neo, we've gotten Ghost of Tsushima, and we've gotten the Rise of the Ronin.
And
games which
they're
have
all
done
games. Yeah, and they've done it better than what Assassin's Creed
has done. They have done it better. Yeah. So I don't want to hear this nonsense about, oh, well, we were waiting for, an Assassin's Creed. You've already done it. It's called Ghost of Tsushima. Hello?
Look, Assassin's Creed, that's not the first Black character in Assassin's Creed either. There was a Black female in that side story Flag? After 3.
Oh, side story after 3? I thought it was something in Black Flag.
No, well, Black Flag might have, that came later, but it was like
Liberation. That was it.
It was on the Vita, or initially. That was the only way you could play it was on the Vita. Then they brought it on the PS4. I think they ported it because, again, the Vita basically died. So it was just like, well, this game is going to be gone if you don't re-release it or do something. So,
yeah. Iguana Man's over on YouTube. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate you checking us out on YouTube. He says,
I just wanted to touch on it real quick because I'm buying it. I don't care. I'm going to get it. I think, with the exception of Black Flag, I own all of the Assassin's Creed games anyway. So why not?
I got to get my part 1 again. My part 1 disappeared. I don't know if I lent it to a cousin, like, hey, you should play this game. And then their kids took it, fucked it up, or something.
more
or
likely.
something.
More likely it was some combination of that 100%.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's get to the news of maybe this week. So actually it was announced today that Marvel has greenlit the Disney Plus series concerning the Vision, and confirming that Paul Bettany will be coming back to be playing the Vision in this upcoming series. The showrunner is going to be a really accomplished one by the name of Terry Matalas, who, if you're a Star Trek fan, you're probably jumping for joy, because he was the showrunner behind Picard season 3, and everybody said that was the best new Star Trek we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah.
Like besides Strange New Worlds and maybe even the first 2 seasons of Discovery, Picard season 3 was like a love letter to Star Trek. Everybody loved it. But anyway, so it says,
this is
go ahead.
more DEI, because now you gotta, even though he might appear as white, he's still an android, so he's not.
Oh my God,
Who?
Not a white male lead. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
The Vision.
No.
Yeah. So there's no new real details on the series as of this yet. But obviously a lot of people are speculating that it's going to pick up with the White Vision after he disappeared from at the end of WandaVision. It's slated to come out in 2026 right now. So that will mean there will have been 5 years between when we last saw White Vision to seeing him in this one. So he's not going to appear in any movies or anything like that. Some people
That we know of.
that we know of. You're right, but some people probably may be a little bit bothered at maybe the timeline, and we're not getting a lot of these things. But obviously, Marvel is slowing things down for.
They're slowing things down because you have all these complainers. It's like, oh my gosh, this stuff is not good anymore, and
But is there the argument to say that this is good, because
could be good.
Some of the stuff that we've gotten in Phase 4 has not quite hit like even Phase 1 did. Like, and we know Phase 1 was hit or miss, but it was more hit than it was miss. And I think there's been a lot of ambiguity towards a lot of the Phase 4 stuff in general. And some of that could be unfamiliarity or reluctance to try anything new. I'm sure there's some of that.
I'm going to highlight this one because Preem was apparently asleep when we talked about this on the show. I know what he's saying though, because he was not feeling good last week. But yeah, as far as the
we talked about that.
Agatha all along.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm looking forward to that. I liked her character. I like what she did in the show. I'm looking forward to the Vision show. Now here's the thing. Too. If you got this much time to do it, I want more than 6 episodes.
Hey man, I hear you, sir.
I want at least 10.
I hear you. Now, would you want 10 just for the sake of 10? Or maybe if they don't have enough story, would you be okay with 8?
See, they have enough story. That's where, in my opinion, I didn't dislike it, but that's where Secret Invasion needed a little bit more room to breathe. They crunched Secret Invasion in so light. It started off slow, built, and then they tried to rush and finish it. It was just like, nah, bro. Secret Invasion as a series should have been something that had seasons. Especially if you're going to slow down and like do maybe less movies, spread out the TV shows. We should have been seeing Secret Invasion, not episode, but season 2, continuing that whole infiltration gimmick and all of that. It should have been, to me, that should have been a series that had at least 8 episode seasons, and we should have had at least 2, maybe 3 before we got a resolution of that.
Yeah, and speaking of the whole Phase 4 disappointment thing, I will say this: there's only 2 shows that I felt were a disappointment to me in Phase 4, and Secret Invasion is one, and Moon Knight was the other one, and for varying reasons. Like, I liked Oscar Isaac and him playing multiple personalities and stuff the way he did, right? But I just felt like the show itself didn't deliver what I was expecting, or what I'm familiar with Moon Knight is in the comic books, even as I read. If you could ask anybody, like, yes, the show was very well acted in parts, but it wasn't quite what we thought we would get with Moon Knight in general. And some people are saying, oh, well, they spent a little bit too much time with the personalities versus him being in the Moon Knight costume kicking ass, which valid argument, because that's certainly not what we got. And then by contrast, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Go finish. Finish what you're saying.
I was going to say, and then by the other extension, Secret Invasion was kind of just a mess from top to bottom. So go ahead. Your rebuttal.
Well, no, real quick on Moon Knight. Again, I think their issue with Moon Knight was early on. They said they did a DC. This is not going to be connected to anything. This just is. So when you're in the middle of everybody, because this is still early on. This is still, relatively soon after Endgame. Everybody's in that mode of how is this all going to come together? And you outright say, this ain't going to be connected to nothing. That was weird. That was the first weird thing about that show. The second thing, he's a character for a lot of people that they don't know anything about, so they have to obviously be introduced to the character, introduced to the lore, introduced to the world. I get that. Give me, again, 10 episodes of that. 6 is very hard to really, and again, 6, give or take, is about a movie length, depending on how long the episodes are. If you're not doing a movie, don't force that real fast, like, let's just try to get it all over with feel of it, because it's like you start slow, you build, then you try to end it quick because you don't have any episodes left. I think that's they got to get out of that. And again, not my money, so it's easy to say it, but realistically, from a storytelling standpoint, X-Men, yes, it's animated, but damn it, that was a very good 10 episode.
Very good. Yes.
A lot of information given to me. And I enjoyed every minute of it. So you can do the same thing with live action.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
Especially if the episodes are an hour long.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stop this 23, 32 every now and again. It's like, pick a time. I understand it's streaming and you can kind of do whatever. Pick a damn runtime.
Do you feel like maybe the Moon Knight as a show, they tried to just do a little bit too much, too fast in that show? Like they tried to cram in too much, because like I liked Ethan Hawke as a villain, but maybe going so deep into Mark's backstory, maybe you could have stretched that out over a couple of seasons, possibly.
I don't even know if it was so much seasons. I think it's just the resolution once they got to the ride basically to death. It was just like, you're in the middle of like, what the hell is going on? Because I think they started that like in episode 4. They were on that ship, and you're just like, how did we get here? Because before, this dude was sleepwalking or whatever, getting, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're on this dead ship. And here's all these different Egyptian gods. And it's just like, hold on. You didn't build any of this up. You just said, here it is.
Here it is. Yeah, exactly.
And again, if you had 4 more episodes after that point to flesh that out, after you could have spent 2 episodes on that, introduced his third personality at the end of episode 6, and then you had 4 more episodes to go to flesh that out, build to your cliffhanger or whatever you wanted to do, instead of, oh damn, we only got 2 episodes left. We gotta hurry up
and wrap this up. Yeah. All right, so that's about the Vision. Obviously, we'll keep you up to breast of what's going to happen as more details come out. But moving on to something that is about to come out next week, The Acolyte. We're all kind of hyped for that. Think that's going to be a pretty good thing.
I hope so.
There is a clip, and I hope you guys don't mind that I just play this. Literally, it's like under 90 seconds. It's just a quick clip.
Are we going to get demonetized for it?
Probably not.
Are we going to
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So it's just a quick clip.
We'll just talk occasionally, so it's not pure.
Yeah, and I kind of turned the sound down so you can't really hear a lot. We're just really gonna just watch some of the action that's going on in the show. Wow. If it'll actually play. Sorry
Aren't you
for
supposed to
that.
be on fiber? You supposed to have
I
the
am.
fastest speed in the world.
Wait, you didn't download it?
No, it's playing right off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Playing right off of YouTube. I didn't download it. No.
Yeah. We'll hope.
Yeah, it's playing. So
Mm-hmm.
I this is kind of the first we're getting a Star Wars kung fu martial arts type feel, and I guess I didn't really expect that here. But how do we feel about that?
I feel that you can fight. Why not have friggin' martial arts in it? Why not? My thing is,
Jedi-
it's a galaxy far, far away and some
Mm-hmm.
place that's unknown. You know, why can't it do any of that stuff? It's fantasy. Fantasy can do whatever the heck you want.
And let's not act like Star Wars has not borrowed from Seven Samurai, has not borrowed from has not borrowed from all sorts of other inspirational things. So
Yes.
Star Wars martial arts again. There's a whole damn video game about Star Wars martial arts.
The Tears Kasai?
And they mentioned it in Solo.
Sure did.
So maybe that's kind of what that was.
Yeah. So a couple of comments out of the chat addressing that, like Iguana Man saying, the purists are gonna hate this, and then Hand of Omega saying, why would fans hate this? Why
really?
do fans hate it?
They freaking probably hating on my girl's hair just because she has fucking dreads and shit.
Right. I'm sure they are. What 100%. Amarok says I'm playing catch up
beauty shops in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but King Takeem is saying that he's enjoying it, or he's looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Amarok is asking, I'm playing catch up for the week. Is JLo in some type of Terminator rip? Yes. Well, not a Terminator rip. Not really. It's more of like she's a mech pilot. And
I saw that trailer.
with the AI,
I saw that trailer when I went to.
It looks. So Simu Liu is going to be an AI villain or something like that has a mechanical body, freaky eyes, or
wasn't Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington movie like that?
Yeah, Virtuosity, something like that. It's a movie, but it's a movie and it's coming out on Netflix. The red carpet was just the other day.
Version. Hopefully it's not as bad as Geely.
Takeem says, I want Disney to redeem Terrace Kasi, but by making a Star Wars Bloodsport movie. That actually would be interesting.
Hilarious.
That would be interesting.
Funny.
That would be super interesting.
I bet that game is worth so much money.
Really?
I don't know, man.
I don't think it is.
You know what? Go ahead and look it up, D, because I know you love doing that.
It's a Star Wars property. You know how that goes, man.
I don't know.
It was PS1, if I remember right.
So Legend 23KM said, did someone ask how we can save the entertainment industry? Because I have some ideas. I'm back, baby, and this time with a bachelor's in acting. Well, first of all, congratulations to you, sir. Long time to you. And welcome back. Good to see you in the chats as well. We did say
$15 complete. $15.95.
That's a whole lot of money. That's a whole lot of money.
If you find it new, it's $100.
Okay, so now see that's better.
If it's new,
but that's better. That's much better. So $100. But Legend, like you were saying, it's not the entertainment industry. It's more like how can we save movies in general. So, but respect to you and getting your bachelor's in acting. Congratulations. Happy for you. I know you've been into that whole acting bit for a while. So, and I know you're a big movie buff. So glad to have your input on this too. Iguana Man says they did the same thing with prequel trilogy. Yes, they did. Hell, they did the same thing with the sequel trilogy. Why are we playing?
They hated on everything. Anything that comes everything. Out. Listen, I'm real quick. The hate. You had Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Hated on the Ewoks. That's when it started. Re-release. Hated on all the re-releases. Everything that came out. Lucas is messing up my childhood. It's fucking Lucas's movie. prequels come out. Lucas sucks. Oh, Jar Jar Binks. Then Star Wars fans are just the real fans are all the biggest fucking haters. Biggest fucking.
Can you call
haters.
them real fans though if they're doing stuff?
They
like
think they're
that?
the real fans, and they have every right to hate on stuff that they don't expect and they didn't write, and then it should be better because George Lucas.
Is this back to Han's assertion that fans have ownership of properties? Whatever.
Hey, that's his opinion.
I don't want
everybody can have their opinion.
Yes.
I'm at the opinion that I'm going to watch something and try to be entertained by it. If you're not entertained because you think you own it, that's on you.
Jazz Hands Dido. I love it. No, I love it. Jazz Hands Dido. I love it. No, that's great.
But, I mean, haters are still fans too.
Yeah,
haters are still fans.
It's a very negative take on being a fan, but I mean, if they go to the movie and pay their money just like everybody else, you have a claim to be, considered a fan. That's why I never get into the quote unquote real fans versus fake fans or bandwagons. It's like if they have love for it or even hate for it or whatever, it's still a form of support for whatever it is. Now it gets annoying dealing with, some of the haters and the toxic people and some of their reasons for why they don't like this or that, or they could have did this better. It's like, no, you couldn't, because if you could, you would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. So I get tired of that. Now, that's not to say that haters should blindly love everything. You can voice your displeasure, but a lot of the stuff that they talk about is very nitpicky, and nitpicky to where it's not even worth discussing because it's like you're just being super nitpicky at this point. What should matter is, are you entertained? If you're entertained, cool, then they did their job. If you're entertained but you have a few issues, then okay, let's talk about it. But if you're just saying, oh well, I hate this because this person was cast and I don't think she looks like the person she's playing.
Or they're doing it because of a woke agenda. They're just trying to be. First off, you don't know what woke is whenever that comes out of your mouth. Yeah, second off, people that have melanin exist. In fantasy, they can exist as well. And they can exist in a galaxy far, far away and a long time ago. They can exist. So just get
100%. Yep, get over yourselves. I agree with that. All right, fellas. So let's pivot the discussion to talking about the problem with going to the movie theaters, or I should say not the problem, but the problem that has arisen with the movie going culture is that a lot of people aren't going out to the movies. Now, by contrast, I mean, let's set the stage. First, what got us alarmed was that The Fall Guy just came out on digital yesterday. The movie was in the theaters for seemingly less than a month. That's what it seems like. I'm sure that the actual time is a little bit longer, but it seems like it was less than a month. How can a movie make its money if people don't refuse to go see it? Well, some people might say, well, if you just make good movies, then we'll go to the theaters. Case in point, Wolverine and Deadpool set franchise records on Fandango, and that movie don't come out for nearly almost 2 months.
Hold on. You said that movie came out yesterday on streaming?
Yeah.
Fall Guy?
Yeah.
It came out May 3rd.
Damn.
That's 18 days.
That's 18 days. Like, what? That's crazy, bro.
That's not even giving it a chance.
That's not giving it a chance at all. And I'm sure a lot of that is, studio driven. They're making the decision to put these movies to be available on digital and pulling them from theaters. How can it possibly make its box office money back if you're putting it direct on streaming? Are people going to buy it? Probably not. If they weren't that pressed to go see it in the movie theaters, why would they pay to see it at home? So that's going to be seemingly a net loss. I digress.
Look,
Wolverine and Deadpool. No, I was going to say Wolverine and Deadpool set, franchise records for first day screenings, and are seemingly selling out because everybody's super excited to see it. Now, I could get real petty and talk about the whole superhero fatigue nonsense and saying that, well, people are just tired of going to see superhero films. Well, you've had non-superhero films for like 6 months, none of them are really, making a lot of noise. Wolverine, Deadpool, and don't come out for 2 months, and it's selling out already. So I don't want to hear this nonsense about superhero fatigue. But what is the real problem? How can we get people to get back into going to see the movies? What is the formula here?
Well, for me, it's kind of hard because out of the three of us here, I can understand more. I feel that I can understand more than you two because I love movies. I love going to movies. I love being in movies. But as I've gotten older, I'm starting to hate getting around people because, like, my late 20s, early 30s, there was a certain movie theater we used to go to, and I hated going to because there'd be a bunch of teenagers there. And then they started putting curfew things in. And I'm like, okay, I can go because I don't have to be bothered with a bunch of teenagers. And, then COVID hit. And I don't know exactly what changed for me. Maybe it was because the theater that I like going to, because I don't like paying the prices that they want us to play. They closed down. And it was really close to my house, so I don't have to do long driving. And it's not there because, like, I have been more enjoy watching movies here in my house when I feel like I'm not going to fall asleep. So that's the only difference is when I go to the movies, I'm not going to fall asleep. Ain't no way I'm paying for a movie and I'm going to fall asleep in the theater. It's not happening unless it's something that I've seen countless times and it's like a rewatching. That is very rare. But, like, it just I have gotten to the point where I can wait. Like, most movies besides Deadpool and Wolverine, like, I want to see a day one just because I'm interested in that whole thing, how they're going to pull it off, what they're going to do. I'm really interested in that to me is intriguing. And almost everything else I can wait, dude. I can wait till it comes to free streaming because, like, when it comes to renting, I'm not going to freaking put down because they want to rent it for $20, man. Fuck you.
So for you, it is lack of enticing films to go see in the theater. It doesn't make you want to get out to go and see it, like, right away, which is a very valid point. A lot of people in the chat are bringing up some really, really good ideas and really good points. Like Legend 23 said a really good thing earlier. He said they get pissy about Hollywood being out of original ideas, but when a great movie like A24 Civil War is released and is getting a lot of press, nobody's going to go see it. And then nobody saw Love's Lies Bleeding or Night Swim either. Now, Night Swim, I thought, came almost directly to Peacock, like, very soon. Like, I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about that. But Night Swim, I thought, was, like, on Peacock within, I don't even remember it being in theaters. I thought it was just on Peacock, and that's where I first saw it. But yeah, so not enticing movies making you want to go and see it. GQ, what do you
I think Civil War hits too close to home to what's going on now. That might be why a lot of people didn't go see that one, because that one feels very, very close to, like, oh, we're about 2 years away from this. So that might be why that one didn't perform well. I think the issue is, and Dido hit the nail right on the head, when COVID happened and theaters were not an option, and they were starting to do this whole, we'll release it on theatrical, but also on same day we're going to release the home version. You can watch it at home. A lot of people got real comfortable with that. Oh, I'll just stay home. I guarantee you. And again, I'm not speaking for him, but I think what Dido's, especially considering like what we're seeing with Fall Guy, where it's less than, barely over 2 weeks after it dropped in theaters, you can watch it at home. I think if that option wasn't so fast and it was a movie he really wanted to check out, he'd find a way to get himself to the theater to check it out. I think that's what they've trained people to be like, hey, this is going to drop. And if you wait right around a month, it'll be at home. If they would stretch that window and make that window a little bit longer, they might get some people back in the theater. But like, for example, Dune Part 2. I walked into the store, it was on Blu-ray already. Yeah. I know I remember seeing advertisements for that movie, about theatrical release at least a month and a half ago at the most, and that's a big movie. It did numbers. We looked it up and we were talking about it last week.
I went to go see that in the theater, but I probably wouldn't have if a friend didn't invite, say, hey, you want to go see this movie? I probably would have been like, wait, because I watched the first one on HBO.
Yeah.
And so
I think I think they've trained the theater experience out of people's minds by having streaming drop so fast.
So
They're not
so
making that
COVID is kind
urgency
of
anymore.
so COVID
Yeah.
has kind of ruined that in that I think Legend brought this one up too. He was saying about how during the pandemic proved to us that we can enjoy cinema at home without being annoyed by strangers and overpriced food and tickets. Now, great points on the pandemic proving to us that we can enjoy cinema at home. However, maybe for some people having and I know this isn't the case necessarily for GQ or for me, but part of the allure of going to the movie theater is seeing it on the big screen and having that nice sound system. You can't get that at home. You
You
cannot get
can
that at
get
home.
it very gosh darn close. Now, mind you, you're gonna have to pay some money for it. Like, for example, my TV's not the biggest one out there, but it'll make do. It's not the size of it, it's the motion and the stuff like that. But projectors are cheap as shit. I got a projector in my room, and if I either put they got really expensive, like $200 a gallon projector paint, and if I were to paint that area, it probably would look better. But it suffices for what I mean. It's really like dark in my room, and if I don't feel like going to the basement, I can lay in my bed and I can watch a movie. The sound sucks because I don't have sound like that in there, but I could easily, get something that's gonna get as close as I need it to be. So like the theater used to be, an experience. It was getting out of the house, going stuff with your friends, being with your friends. You kind of make it not just a thing. Cause I also used to go to movies by myself. I used to find, a theater. If it's a movie I wanted to see, I would go by myself, but it would have to be inexpensive. And the problem is, for me, if a lot of movies, you can't do a $5 movie no more.
Yeah, that's almost become a thing of the past where like you really don't have a dollar theater. You have your, I think $5 Tuesdays or something for certain theaters and stuff like that. And that's really more or less them trying to catch up after COVID. I mean, I think the coolest thing that COVID brought us was we rented out a theater to go see Tenet. I thought that was actually kind of cool.
That was cool as hell. That
But,
was really cool. Yeah.
But realistically, the way things are going now with films, it's like if you don't catch it within that first week or two window, you're not going to see it.
You're
on
not
the
going
big
to see
screen.
it. Correct.
Deadpool and Wolverine is probably going to be an exception just because of the fact it's so big. Everybody wants to see it, this and that. But to Legend's point, a lot of these smaller, more art house films, their theatrical runs are 2 weeks tops. Like even Michael Jai White's movie, the Outlaw Johnny Black, I wanted to see that in the theater, and it came and went within like what felt like a week, and I'm like, what the hell? So unfortunately, these companies, and I get it, they're trying to recoup their money, but it's like the theater used to be the way you recouped your damn money.
Yeah.
But you're letting the theater have it for like a hot minute, and then you're throwing it right in the streaming service.
And it's because I still feel like per capita you can get more money out of the movie theater than you can get putting it right on the streaming. I could be wrong about that, but I know some people say, well, if you put it on your streaming service and that pushes subscriptions, you can't necessarily attach it to a byline or a bottom line and say, well, this movie was responsible for this much money. It kind of gets dispersed upon all the other content that you have on your service. That's not a real indicator of whether a movie was hitting or wasn't. It feels like the movie theater is still the real place to get a really good measure of how well a film is hitting with an audience, right? So how can we bring that back? A lot of people said if you lower the ticket prices, you lower the concessions. Now, I got into a conversation with E-Man Movie Reviews on Twitter, X, the
Twitter.
other day. Yeah, I know. I know. I was just being funny. But he was saying that if you lower the movie tickets, people will start to come back. Because, and his argument is that look at Imagine's $5 Tuesdays. Those bitches, they sell out, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do. They sell out. They do that every week. Now, you have to be an Imagine Rewards member in order to get that discount. But those $5 Tuesdays, those make money. Those are probably the busiest days of the week for the movie theater now. Not Friday, not Saturday, not Sunday, but Tuesday, because people want to take advantage of the cheaper tickets.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
but you have to also remember Tuesday is a very weird day because
I agree with you.
You're smack dab in the middle of the work week, damn near for most people. Now, granted, if it's I don't remember if it was it's Tuesday. I'm sorry, it's $5 all day, right?
Yes, $5 all day. Yes, $5 a day, all day on Tuesday. Yeah,
you can basically, I guess, skip dinner and then take the family to go see a film or whatever. But you're still in the middle of the damn week. Most people are going to work on Wednesday,
school
so
night,
it's like
school night,
yep, all of that. So I mean, during the summer, all day long, completely get that. You know, you can make time and make it work if you got a family or whatever. For me personally, I'm like Dido. I go to the movies by myself with no problem because I want to see whatever it is that I want to see.
Right.
So the cost part of it, because I'm not paying for a date, I'm not paying for kids or none of that, has never been an issue for me personally. It's just a matter of I want to see whatever this particular thing is on the big screen, and more often than not, it's action or something that like you are not going to catch me watching a rom-com in the theater unless I got a date,
right?
Because I get the exact same
and
let's keep at home.
I was going to say, let's keep it a buck, right? Rom-com dates really should be Netflix and chill now. That's really what they should be.
Pretty much.
That's what that should be, because you got so many of those types of films on Netflix. You don't need to go to the movie theater to go see one of those. You can just pick one off of Netflix and just have that and chill at home. Get some takeout and maybe you don't even finish watching the movie. If you catch my dear.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine had a $65 ticket package. The movies aren't going anywhere for the simple fact it's a staple of the MCU formula and they ain't stopping anytime soon. Absolutely. Those are must-see big screen experiences. Every single one of them. I don't care how bad people want to say the Marvels wasn't good and this and that. Every single one of those MCU movies is worth seeing on the big screen for me.
My man Legend says try Hallmark Channel. Try Hallmark Channel. So instead of Netflix, Hallmark and chill is there. Is that what you do? Is that what you do?
Come on, bro.
Instead of Netflix and chill, it's the Hallmark and chill.
No, he's not. No, see, the thing is, Netflix and chill is to be subtle. When it's Hallmark and fuck. You're not being subtle.
Hallmark does. Every single one of their movies is the same. Every single one.
Yes, sir.
They either having a Christmas, going back to their old town for Christmas, or they like, what I'm saying? It's every single one. It's disgusting.
It's like the big city girl returns to the small hometown and meets the old love and rekindles. Yeah, it's always like that. It's very tropey, but whatever.
Come on. And they got that one act. Now the actress that's usually in most of them is really cute. I can't remember her name right now, but every one of them damn Hallmark movies, man, it's like, come on, bro. Like y'all just cookie. You talking about cookie cutter? Everybody wants to talk about how Disney and MCU movies is cookie cutter. Watch a Hallmark movie.
100%. So
watch one. You've seen them all.
Legend is 100% corroborating your story there, GQ. He's Dido. He says it's on point. It's Hallmark and if I go to the mistletoe.
Yeah.
Just like that. But anyway, so back to the whole event thing, and I was going to bring up this. Now, I said to E-Man that I thought lowering the concessions, not necessarily needing to take away the ticket price, but if you lower the concessions because one of the complaints we always hear is that I got to pay an arm and a leg for a ticket. Okay, that's price of admission, but do I got to pay an arm and a leg to get snacks too? Like, if I can snack on something, popcorn and drink or whatever, or maybe I want to get some candy or some some hot food, it shouldn't cost you like your entire month's phone bill in order for you to go to the movies. You know what I mean?
I don't ever buy any of that stuff. First off, it's not that good. The popcorn does kind of be hitting sometimes.
Right.
But any other the food there is garbo bo 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 bo.
Oh, we know about you in the White Castle story. So
that was garbage. But like the nachos is just plain old nachos with the
plain old nachos. That's all true.
And the pickle, jalapenos, If you want a hot dog, you can get them glizzies anywhere. Go to Costco, get you a big
The
old
glizzies,
one.
yes.
We get these small ass fucking hot dogs, and you paying $8 for a goddamn hot dog.
But again, I feel
chicken
like
fingers and shit. Like,
but I do feel like, wouldn't you think it would be a little bit easier for people to stomach getting out and going to the movie theaters if it was less of a hit on their wallet for the snacks and concessions? Now, the argument that the theaters always make is that, well, this is how we really make our money because most of the ticket money goes back to the studios. Which, okay, if you
especially
charge
now,
but if you
with these
charge
short
them,
runs.
but if you charge them less for the concessions, you might incur a bit of a bump in sales that may make up the difference. That's just my opinion.
Here's the problem, because here's what you're gonna have to do. You are going to have to undo decades of programming into most moviegoers' brains that this stuff is expensive. So guess what? You in the same problem that a movie is in, because you're gonna have to spend a bunch of money on marketing to let people know that concessions are cheap. And then you're gonna have to hope that a whole bunch of people come in so you can recoup that marketing budget that you just blew out there on these concessions, and hope that they want to come back and watch these movies that are going to be in the theaters for 2 weeks.
What if
it's a huge catch-22?
It is a catch-22. What if price of admission got you a small popcorn, small drink?
That doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I grew up going to the goddamn movie theaters, and my father did not get us popcorn or nothing. We might have eaten before or after. Might have gotten pizza at his house. I don't really remember. I remember going to the movies often, seeing The Fifth Element in the movie theaters with my dad. Also seeing Naked Gun 22 in the second and a half, and then Terminator 2. And I remember various movies, and there was no fucking popcorn at all. It was lucky enough you got some quarters to play the arcade games before the movie theater or after. So like I've gotten to the whole point where I don't even need any of that stuff. The incentive for me is just less people.
You see, and that you're right. That's part of that is the problem is the people that go to these movie theaters are usually young and dumb, have zero respect, zero class for anybody that is going to sharing the experience with them, because they act like they're at home. They're talking all throughout it, being obnoxious and all this other kind of stuff. That's all fine and good, right? I still contend that I think if you lower both of them, which ain't no way you're gonna get the studios to accept, lowering the ticket prices. No way. That's not gonna happen.
Not anymore.
That's not gonna happen. So I think lowering the concessions is kind of the only real way they can start to lure some of these people to really start to come back, because one of the biggest demographics are young families that go to the movies because they want to bring their kids. The kids want to go see these movies in the theater. They want to have a fun night out and so on and so forth. But it's going to cost you, if you got 2 or 3 kids, it's going to cost you like $150.
Look, Legend said it right. Because I had an instance in one of the Fast and the Furious movies where I didn't know Han was still alive, or no, was he still? I forget the situation, but it was after
Statham.
Yeah, Jason Statham had killed. Yeah, he was the one that killed Han. Is because I drank a beer. I went to the movie theater. I had a beer, and I drank the beer watching Fast and Furious movie. Credits hit. I ran out because I had to go piss so freaking bad. He says they allow you to pause the film and go to the bathroom. Could you imagine? Like, wait. Boop. Pause. Come back.
My thing for theater experience is the credits is when that happens for me. When I run to the bathroom and then come back to check out after credits. Because Marvel movies have obviously trained us all to be ready for either a mid credits and after credits, or just one or the other. And even a lot of times with a film, once it gets to the credits, I'll pull out my phone and double check. Be like, hey, is there an after credits for this? Obviously if it's Marvel, I know there is. But some other films, it's like, hey, is there an after credits or whatever? And if not, that's when I hit the restroom real quick.
That's kind of what I did. I just didn't know.
So I know I saw that you highlighted Marcus's comment, which is great, because he says, hey guys, just woke up, but as a former movie theater manager, and this is for those of you that are on YouTube and on Facebook. I know the print is kind of small. You might not be able to read it, but I'm reading it now. So, hey, guys, just woke up. But as a former theater manager, they really don't make anything from the tickets, which I knew. My company at the time tried a project to reduce the prices for a year, and we ended up losing money on the. I'm assuming on the tickets. At the time, I'm not sure if they're still doing this, but we did sell movie tickets with popcorn and drinks. It was called a box combo, and we were at the time the third most busiest theater in the entire company. Now, he says dropping the concession prices is them losing money. Interesting.
And that makes sense. You got to remember, most people, if they think they're getting a deal, they're going to jump on it. They won't do the math and see that it's like, you actually are paying a slight amount more, even though you think you're getting a deal. And that's how you get people. Like, for example, Kroger, send a check, is running a special on pop this week. Or it might be just period for the summer, but it's buy 2, get 3 free on their 12 packs. Now, here's the rub. Their 12 packs normally $4 or whatever, maybe maybe a little bit more normally, plus deposit. Obviously, in Michigan we have deposit, so that's $4 plus the $1.20, so basically $5 something each. They raise the price of them to like $10, so it's like, okay, guess what? You're buying 2, but you're buying them for more than you would normally buy, the regular for. And you're paying all that deposit because in Michigan, we got to pay deposit. Whether you get it free or not, you have to pay the deposit, which is 10 cents per can or whatever. So it's a deal until you sit down and do the math. So theaters could do the exact same thing with the ticket price and the popcorn. Because again, popcorn doesn't cost them anything.
Nope.
Nothing.
At all.
Nothing.
And then the pop is just syrup and water. So they got a million, things of that. Plus with those freestyle machines. Now I understand those are a little bit more expensive, but still.
Yeah.
So they could definitely do it and make money.
I think the theater companies would just have to be a lot more creative. They might want to think about cutting out some of those pricey food options, like the hot food that isn't really very good in the first place. And then just cutting those out altogether. Like who goes to a movie theater wanting to get a burger? Who goes to the movie theater wanting to get a chicken slider? Do we really need that? Keep it simple, man. Just take some of that stuff out. You lower some of your operating costs. You can, afford a little bit to.
Here's the thing, though.
Drop the prices.
They make money on that because all the stuff that they're doing is cheap food. They're just way overcharging for it.
Sometimes if you're hungry, I mean, I have eaten in the theater because I was hungry. We didn't eat beforehand, or I came after work and I was just like, I want something to eat. So for me, it was a convenience. Those sliders are gross. But if they got burgers, if they got something that's somewhat good, I wouldn't pay attention to the price, and I would just pay it because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But, that's not going to pull me in.
So
exactly, yeah, it's not meant for that. I mean, their concessions are literally just, hey, this is normally cheap food. We got them here. They can't bring in outside food. Let's gouge them on the price.
Now,
some
I know
some won't.
I know some theaters have also experimented with doing sporting events. And what I was getting ready to get to is diversifying what's being offered at the theaters. Maybe it's not just movies anymore. Maybe it's more event stuff. Like I know we were doing at Imagine when the Lions were in the playoffs, they did a streaming party or a viewing party for the playoff game, and you could do it at the theater. You can sit down and see it on a big screen and kind of like replicate the experience of being at the game with some fans, with raucous fans. I think the NFL ended up shutting that down.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think the NFL ended up shutting that down. Now, they might need to negotiate with the sports leagues to allow that kind of stuff, but I think that's one avenue they can do. I liked what they did, like the whole thing with showing the concert films, like the Beyonce and the Taylor Swift. That really did really well for them. because that's not something you could get at home. That was something exclusive to theaters. That did really well for them. UFC has their fights at the movies. That actually probably could do pretty good, like the pay-per-views. Those could do
You know what
pretty
I
well.
think? I don't want to mean to interrupt, but you know what I think? I think they should have it where, being the fact that you got so many movies, a lot of them are hot, movies from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s and 10s. I think what probably would bring me personally back in movie theaters is being able to see movies that I didn't get the chance to see in the movies. Like if it was not just new movies. Like I know they have those what you call it?
Yeah, it's
Fathom
events. Yeah, the
event.
Fathom events, and that's what they do. Yeah.
I think there should be just more than a Fathom event, because if something like Big Trouble in Little China was being played, I would go see that. Gremlins, never saw it in the theater. Raiders of the Lost Ark, never saw it in the theater. There's a lot of stuff that they could do it and promote it. Like if it were new movies, maybe that might do it. I don't know.
I think you're onto something there, and I think they're doing that. Also, I think expanding the breadth of the availability of some of these anime films, like Spy Family Code White did really well. Dragon Ball, superhero did really well. Other films like that can do really well. Couple that with sporting events as well. You can bring the experience back and some of the magic back. Now, does that mean they have to limit maybe some of the screens to the bigger event, releases? Probably, but you can always have the smaller theaters host these ongoing events for those that don't really care about the latest MCU movie or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I think what they run into, because I don't know exactly how Fathom Events works as far as the rights go, because I think that's what it is, and that is kind of why they don't do it as often. Because don't forget, when we did Anime on the Hill, we had to buy the rights to show that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's literally one of those things where, yeah, it'd be great to see Big Trouble in Little China like have a theatrical run for like, a limited week or whatever, of like, hey, throw it back in the theaters for a week. They'd have to negotiate with, is that Disney that owns that now? Technically, is that 20th Century Fox that put that out?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like that's with all movies, though. You got to have the rights for them, because, like, even when you're at home, you're licensing the right to watch.
Oh no, absolutely,
stuff as much as you want.
But what I'm saying is, like, I know Fathom, like, because every time I go to Imagine, they're always advertising what the basically that month's roster of movies is going to be, and usually each movie only has 2 show days. Like it might be a Wednesday and a Sunday, or Wednesday and a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? They pick specific days to show them, and that's your opportunity. It would be, for me, it'd be cooler, especially since there's not a whole ton of movies out, if each one of those movies was running that whole week, Saturday to Sunday. That way, because sometimes you can't get out on one of those 2 days to see whatever it is. So if you got an entire week to check it out, hey, why not? That, I just wish that was how that worked, instead of these 2 particular days of the week you get a chance to see Harry Potter again, or whatever. So it's like, no, I would love to just be able to have that entire week to get the opportunity.
Yeah, agreed.
Hand of Omega brought up a very interesting one. He said maybe theaters can have a punch type program. You go to a certain amount of times, you get a prize or something. They kind of already do that though, with well, not necessarily
loyalty
that
programs.
Part. The loyalty programs, they do have that. So the loyalty programs, that doesn't get you free movies.
No, the one I'm in does. I'm in regular basic Imagine. The problem is you can't use it on first run movies anymore. Because it used to be, because I've accumulated so many free tickets because I go, but more often than not, I can't use it on the films that I'm going to go see because they're brand new. Now, if I want to go there right now, I've got probably 5 or 6 free tickets to see something that's been out, and free small popcorns and this and that. But as far as what he's saying, I mean, the whole punch thing is something that theaters used to have. It probably just didn't catch on, or people lost their tickets. You know how people are; they want everything to be on their phone. People ain't bringing a punch card no more.
Right. Yep. One man says Cinemark gives out free tickets monthly, I believe. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to get people in the door. The problem is you got to find either more of what they want to see, or if it's the newer stuff, the studios have to give you more time to have it in the theater before they just like, hey, throw it up on streaming. Because they're shooting themselves in the foot, in my opinion. Now, granted, I could be wrong. Maybe they're making gangbusters on their movies on streaming. Who knows? But to me, Fall Guy being in the theaters for basically 18 days and then on streaming on the 18th day is ridiculous. That's not even giving the film a chance to recoup any of the budget. You know, that's just how I see it, because it's like that's not a huge event movie that you know you're going to get crazy opening weekend and then a good follow-up weekend. You know, that's just, you know, that's a movie based on an old TV show that's we all saw in syndication.
Yeah.
Could and this is a good idea. I feel like maybe doing some of the streaming shows in the theater might work. I don't know. Maybe not.
That's
maybe
a hard
not.
one.
That probably would be a hard one. You're right. Marcus saying we had Fathom events, but they were random, and at most we would get them every month if possible. We would only get them every other month if possible. Last one I remember us playing was the original 10 Commandments. Granted, only about 10 to 15 people came from both showing each. The loyalty programs are weak now. They were Skittles better back when I was working it, but it takes so long for some to get something free, which is the point. They want you to take a long time to get something free.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
Like even with the loyalty, because the thing is, I don't even know how the loyalty program works. All I know is every now and again I go in there, they'll take my phone number for the loyalty thing. Hey, did you know you have like 4 free movies and some popcorns built up? I'm like, sure, I guess, because I don't really care to check it. It's not like I'm sitting at home like, ooh, if I see another movie, I get another popcorn. I don't care.
Right.
It's like, you know, they tell me that I've got free stuff sitting there, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And the most recent time I went, they're like, oh, you do know this stuff expires. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if you start letting me use these movie tickets on first run movies, maybe I'll use them all up. So
say what's up to 2K Car over on Kick. What's up? Iguana Man says Cinemark Movie Club is a free ticket a month and 20% off concessions for $10.99 a month. That it's actually not. It
sounds
bad.
like you've paid for it.
Yeah, you paid for the ticket. You're paying for the ticket.
You've definitely paid for the ticket. Them giving you money off the concessions is nothing to them. It doesn't really cost them anything. Right. But they're basically, now again, I don't know how much the tickets cost around you. $10.99 is very close to basically a ticket price. You're just basically buying a discounted ticket, because for the tickets we got for Deadpool were $16. So now that's that's not matinee. That's prime time. We're seeing it at like 9:30 at night. So it's no like matinee price or anything like that.
Now, one thing I saw the studios do, and this is going back to their streaming shows. Picard season 3, obviously we knew that was very big, right? The finale, the series, the season/series finale, they did a theater screening for that where they sold tickets, and the tickets, the stars were there in the theater for a special one-night experience. Obviously, every single theater can't get that, right? Yeah. But could they do something where you could replicate that by going to theater and getting something that you'll never ever see anywhere else, by doing the season? This goes back to, I think I was saying before, how I thought that it would be pretty cool for you to run a season and then maybe a special short film to wrap up the end of the season at the end for a payoff.
Kind of like what they did with Clone Wars, but in reverse.
Yes, something like that. Yes, like where people would see the film, the series at home, get super hyped up, and then be like, "Hey, for a limited time, we're going to screen this. We're going to screen a season finale with extra scenes in the theater. You got to come out and see it.
You'd have to definitely have an incentive that you cannot get at home.
Yes.
It'd have to be, like you said, extra scenes or some type of collectible or something. So how much did those Picard tickets cost for the people that want to go see it with the stars there?
I don't remember. I think it was like something like they might have even done a sweepstakes thing about that.
Because I guarantee you, because even for Comic-Con this past weekend, they screened Twister, and Helen Hunt was there.
Oh
no, the original
the
Twister.
original.
Yeah, yeah, and Helen Hunt was there. As far as I remember from what I saw, the ticket price, the lowest ticket price was $60 for an old movie. And then, as you got, closer to the VIP and meet and greet and all this other stuff, $200 a ticket. That's not something a lot of people are going to. You got to be a diehard fan.
You got to be a fan
for something like that.
Something like that.
Most people are. They're going to see $60 for a movie of anything for a single ticket. Nah, I'm good. Most people are going to pass on that.
Mm-hmm. Let me do this with Hannah Omega. I'm highlighting his comment now. People would be pissed if they had to go see movies to see the end of the season. Now, I'm not saying you have to go, right? I'm saying it is a special version, a special cut that's shown only in the theaters where you get maybe extra scenes that you're never gonna get at home, right? Like, say if they did Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they did the reveal of Captain America, but they did some extra stuff that was only in the theater. But then when you saw it at home and even on streaming, you didn't get that. And the only time you'll ever get those extra scenes is if you buy the Blu-ray. That's kind of what I'm talking about, doing something like that. But that would mean the studios want to do that as a favor for the theaters. Are they willing to go that extra mile? I don't know.
I mean, we'll have to see.
Yep.
Legend is saying, I think when Fandango has Marvel and DC films on their schedule, they used to have free comics to go along with it. While Alamo Drafthouse has collector's glasses, I think both should give free comics for those films.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, a lot of the times they have movie posters that you can get at the theaters that we go to. You can get, free movie posters and various stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they can give away or get, from the studios or whatever. Is that going to be an incentive for people to want to come out from home and go see whatever it is? More often than not, probably not.
Like you said, it has to be an experience. It has to be something that you can't get at home. And the problem is a lot of people, these big ass TVs are cheap as shit. Not everybody buys the ones with the greatest freaking refresh rate and screens and stuff, because you can get like a 75-inch for like $500 at certain places. And if you're streaming everything, most people, they don't give a shit how many pimples you can see on somebody's face, as long as you can see the freaking thing, and then get a decent sound system. So it has to be some kind of experience, and they're trying. I heard about some 4D chairs.
Yeah, I've never sat in one of those chairs. I don't know what the whole experience is with those 3D or 4DX chairs. I feel like it's overrated.
Yeah,
whatever it is, I feel like it's overrated.
Well, I'm sure it's fine for certain films. In other films, it's probably just like it's a nuisance or whatever. But yeah, D-Box. See, I'm Roxy said D-Box seats are badass. So it's just a matter of what you want from your theater experience.
Fallen Marvel is joining the show finally. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here, sir.
He is.
I think a lot of this was mishandling of the releases during the pandemic. WB messed everyone up, which yeah. A lot of this is directly because of what WB did in order to quote unquote save their movie slate from the pandemic, when they could have just pushed everything back and waited till everything cleared up.
Well, I mean, I get it from a sense of like you're not making any money and you don't know when this is going to end because you had a less than intelligent person in charge trying to solve everything. But it's like, for them to just be like, yeah, we're gonna drop it in the theater and at home at the same time. That was a problem. What you got?
Minority Games is quote this motherfucker right here.
Oh, he been trying to get attention all day. He says, "Where the other light skin at?"
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
You got two lights, you got two darks. You get them together, culture junkies.
Wow! But no, I mean it again. And you had some directors that had enough clout. They're like, no, you're not releasing my thing at home. You're not screening it at home. You're putting it in the theater. Yes. And I would have. And again, I get it. They got to pay their people. They got to, they got people that work for them. They got to get paid. I understand that completely. But a lot of movies kind of suffered, and we're seeing that those same effects now because people got used to it by being at home when they were supposed to be on the big screen. Yeah. Now Wonder Woman 84 wasn't one of them because that movie just wasn't good on the big screen or the small screen.
Not good at all.
So I mean, there's some stuff that they put out that was just like, this ain't gonna be good no matter what. Right. But I'm sorry. Every single big release, like for example, when the Batman came on streaming so fast,
45 days. Yeah.
That movie was good. That movie deserved to just be on the big screen for exclusively for a period of time. And then, okay, you'll eventually get it at home.
I think maybe certain films should be slated for direct to streaming. And I know they do this already, right? Some should have a longer streaming window. But I think for certain people, there is no wait time, right? 45 days is too soon. Because people are saying, oh, well, Batman came out. Oh, I'll just wait for 45 days still to come out to streaming. They were doing that to Marvel movies when they were coming to Disney Plus in 45 days. They still do it. What am I talking about? They still do it.
Yep.
90 days. Would they be willing to wait that long? Maybe. But that's the nature of the beast now, I feel.
Well, that, and then also you have the compound thing of them trying to get rid of physical as well. So now it's just like, oh, well, all we got to do is just press a button basically and send it to our server, and then it's available for people. Versus, we got to press these discs, we got to do some marketing for the upcoming Blu-ray release, blah blah blah. So them doing that, basically killing one part of their, basically cutting off an arm, so to speak, is just like, okay, you do know that these movies are not getting any cheaper, especially as visual effects and stuff, regardless of if it's getting quote unquote easier to do, it still costs money. You paying effects houses, you paying all these various things, you still paying your actors. From where we just had an actor strike, I'm pretty sure they ain't trying to get less money. So it's like at some point, something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Trying to, push these, and again, most movies are $100 million plus. You putting it out there for 18 days or a couple of weeks, it's not going to recoup that, especially with when people can sit back and be like, oh, it'll be at home. I'll just, I'll wait for the stream.
So Legends got a couple of comments, and Wolverine's got a really good comment, I thought. Legend is saying re-release all the films from the lockdown and keep them for a month or two. That's unrealistic. That'll never happen because they're on streaming. And then he says re-release classic films as well for the same time to help recuperate losses from their original release runs. Good thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because for Spider-Man's 80th, they put Spider-Man Homecoming back in the theaters, and nationwide. First of all, I never heard that it was coming back in the theaters. They never said anything about that, but it made a whopping $285,000.
Yeah,
in its re-release, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think re-releasing classic films and keeping them in the theater for a month or two is going to make a dent if they're already available on streaming. You're not giving them a reason to go out and see it.
It has to be Endgame. It has to be Infinity War.
It has to be something like that.
It has to be the big heavy hitters that when you go see it in the theater, it just hits you different. It has to be something like, it can't be a regular. And again, Spider-Man: Homecoming was a great movie.
It was a
It
good
is
movie.
not.
Yes.
It's not on the level of any one of the 4 Avengers movies. It just isn't. Hell, Civil War would have hit harder than Homecoming would have hit. You need like they have to be thinking along those lines if they're gonna bring stuff like that back. Like Dido said, Raiders of the Lost Ark in theaters again would be fun to see. For me, because I did see that in the theater. Hell, Star Wars, you can re-release that 1,000,000 times in theaters if people will go back and see that, regardless of what they want to say about the sequels trilogy and all that. Star Wars is always a draw. Hell, like I said, Big Trouble in Little China, Transformers. There's a whole bunch of older movies that can get additional runs, but not every single one is going to hit. It's got to be very specific, picks. If they're trying to do it as let's make money off of this old movie, because every movie we just named I already have sitting right over there. I can just walk right over and put it in and start watching it. It has to be something that I cannot get that theater experience again unless they bring it back. It's got to be something like that.
Like, how many people like, I know for me personally, I missed out on the first Lord of the Rings movie in the theater, and I didn't go see it. I was like, it's too long, I wasn't interested. And then I watched it at home, when I saw it, and I was like, damn, I'm sorry I missed this in the theater, because I thought it would have been an experience. And from then on, I didn't miss another Lord of the Rings movie in the theater. It has to be something like that. Like now, Wolverine had brought up a good one a little while ago. He said, if opening day / weekend of your film has to be a draw, then if it's not, over with streaming you go. So I think what he's trying to say is, if your movie is inherently needing a draw, if it's not an event movie, don't put it in the theater. Just go straight to streaming, which I can see that, right? Some of these films that come out in the theaters don't necessarily need to be in the theaters. Like, did Fall Guy need to be in theaters? I don't know.
Roadhouse, was it?
Roadhouse was straight to Peacock, right? It was Peacock original.
Amazon
original. Sorry, was it Amazon?
Amazon.
Okay, yeah, Amazon original went straight to Amazon, and they're making a sequel to it. Same thing.
I think, I don't know, if I was a filmmaker and I'd put that work in, I want to see my project on the silver screen.
Yeah,
it's like, you're gonna spend all that time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, get all the proper equipment and whatever. I want it to be on the screen, because realistically, that's kind of how you make your money. Is because there's no real way to tell on the streaming side of things, especially if the company does not give those numbers out. How many times is your movie getting watched? How much money is your movie making? How much should my check be from this particular, whatever? At least with box office, you were able to track that.
Right. Exactly. You're seeing the whole breakdown of how much this movie made, and now you can divvy up the movie to pay people their just due. I don't know, man. So Minority Games is asking GQ before, as we get ready to wrap up. So, I mean, a concession of how we would save the films. I think we're all in agreement. You probably would need to lower the ticket prices and concessions, and bring in incentives to make people want to go back, to go see the film. It has to be a special experience that they're not going to get anywhere else. Like, we've got director's cuts. Maybe we need to have theater cuts and then home cuts instead. Right. Like, you go see a movie in the theater.
They used to do that. They used to do that a lot. I mean, even a lot of Blu-rays have that, theatrical and extended.
Yeah.
That was part of the incentive for getting the Blu-rays a lot of times.
Exactly. Now, maybe they need to reverse that and say you have, I don't know if you'll ever be able to do that though. Like, if you get the streaming version, you're not going to get the extended cut like you would get maybe if you went to see it in the theater or get it on Blu-ray. I don't know how they'll figure that part out, but there has to be some incentive really to make sure that people want to go see the movie in the theaters. Now, clearly, people aren't going to wait for MCU movies. I can't even say DC films, because ain't nobody jumping to go see a DC film in the theater right now. I mean, Aquaman and Blue Beetle kind of proved that.
And that's
And the Flash,
unfortunate because they weren't that
which is
bad.
very unfortunate. Which is very unfortunate. Every event movie should be something that people want to go and see right away, and there's just not enough of that out there right now. What is it going to take? Don't know. We'll have to see. But the theaters are going to have to get very clever in getting people to come back. Now, go ahead and answer Minority's question there, GQ. What new gadget did you buy?
What new gadget did I buy?
Yeah.
Oh, unboxings will be back next month. I decided to take some time away from doing unboxings just a little bit because I had a lot of work that I had to do, and I'm actually changing the way the kind of the look and feel of unboxing. So you'll see. Just stay tuned. They will be every other Friday, as has been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing is, looking forward to movies. Bad Boys 4, I guess, comes out next week, or maybe the week after. It doesn't even feel like it. It just feels like okay, there's a couple movies because Deadpool is the only thing on the radar.
It'll be streaming Bad Boys really, really fast.
Oh yeah, I give that 3 weeks tops at the theater, just like Fall Guy, because Fall Guy wasn't even 3 weeks. Fall Guy was 2 weeks and 4 days. So I give Bad Boys 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Kuma came out yesterday. That dude is awesome.
Yes.
Kumite.
No, Akuma.
Akuma. I was like, we talking about Kumite again.
Yeah.
Hey, put that in theaters. I go see that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Akuma is insane though. Like just playing at first of all, he's always been one of my favorite characters, but being able to give your avatar his moves. My avatar is a sexy brunette, and so seeing her do the hell murder is hilarious.
That's funny. So, you have to take some video capture and share that. So we can see it. But so Follow Marvel saying definitely lower the tickets. AMC doing that surge pricing for seating ensured I would never go there. So
did that even happen?
Yes, it happened.
Okay.
I brought that up to you guys that I saw some people posting their ticket. I think Iguana Man had actually posted the tickets. I mean, not Iguana. Iguana has said that he put a screen cap of AMC's app for getting tickets to Deadpool and Wolverine, and it was like $28 a ticket, even for children. Even for children.
What city or
for children and seniors, it was like $28, bro.
Yeah, what state are you in, Iguana? Because I thought that was something that they said that they were going to try, and I thought it just fell flat on its face and they were done with it. I didn't realize it was still going. That's funny.
Like as an AMC stockholder, someone that bought the meme stock when it was in the crapper. I need us as a board to find a way to get rid of the guy that is running AMC, because he has been running it in the ground. John Campy has talked about this. Like he blatantly calls him on his thing on his show a stupid fucking idiot. Like literally, like right on his show. He like, cause he thinks he's running the business into the ground. And with stunts like this,
that was in Tennessee, Nashville.
Yeah.
That's
but like
crazy.
It's insane, bro.
No, this is not a McDonald's shirt. It's McDowell's.
McDowell's.
They got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick.
Big Mick. That's right.
Remember the rest of it?
Well,
they both have 2 patties, all beef patties, lettuce, bud. But theirs have the C's. My buns have no C's.
No C's.
Yeah.
Dude, I miss him. John Amos was awesome.
Great. He was awesome in that movie.
Yes.
No, he didn't die.
In general. He always had memorable roles when he showed up.
So Marcus is saying the same thing out of Facebook. He said, my theater was bought out by AMC and I hate the way they changed everything. Them ticket prices are crazy now. I have no reason to go to an AMC theater anymore. I mean, exactly. Like,
well, Isn't AMC is one of the biggest chains out there, right?
They're the biggest chain in America.
And I think that's the problem. They when people think of theaters, they think of AMC. What's the last thing you heard from AMC? We're doing this surge pricing thing. So they automatically bought into the movies ticket prices are too damn expensive. The concessions are too damn expensive. You've turned a lot of people off just in general. Even if all these other theaters are running great deals, the consensus is theaters are too damn expensive. And on top of that, the companies are releasing the movies right away. So, on streaming. So,
yeah,
kind of shooting themselves in the foot all the way around the board.
Like some of the incentive for, joining the AMC, getting the AMC stubs was skipping the line in the concessions. Like you had your own dedicated line. No one's in the freaking theater anymore. Like you don't need to skip the line. Like nobody's in concession line anymore.
There's no line to skip.
There's no line to skip. There's no line to skip at all. Minority Games is asking what's in my cabinet over there. So behind you can see at the top shelf Voltron. It's the Soul of Chogokin Voltron. So there's a lot of glare. My son is over there. He's playing MLB The Show for my TV. But at the top shelf,
purpose.
Yes, he loves baseball.
I'm joking. I know he loves baseball.
He loves baseball. Come on now. So at the top shelf, you can see Voltron there, and the second shelf, you can see the Darksaber that I got from Disney when we went. You've got Gundam Ariel. That's a model that my daughter built, and it's on a rotating carousel. So actually, I can go in there and turn around, and it'll actually spin around. Next to Ariel, you've got Gohan, and then on the bottom shelf, you've got the Enterprise from Star Trek, the original series, and you got a Joker figure that Super Nerd bought for me. But I'm building my own a bigger Enterprise. I showed it to the guys. It's not quite done yet. I'm still putting some more final touches, putting LEDs in it, and then I'm putting it in the cabinet, so you'll probably see it there too. Is your kid a White Sox or a Cubs fan, brother? I live in Michigan. What kind of a fan do you think he is? He is definitely not a White Sox or Chicago Cubs fan. Absolutely not. He is certainly not a White Sox or a Cubs fan. Get out of here with that. Hand of Omega says, all without turning around. Impressive. Nice. Most impressive. Hey, look, man, I'm staring right in the screen. I can see what's in the cabinet. Like I can see it in my own picture. Like that's not impressive.
Not too many games for me. What the heck? I did pick up something recently though. This is nostalgic for me, and I spent more than Dido normally would. I picked up Sonic CD for the Sega CD. Now, mind you, this version right here came with the Sega CDX. When I graduated middle school, my grandfather reluctantly bought me a Sega CDX, and you got this version. So instead of a blue, it has a pink Sonic CD on there. And then the rest of it that came with it, you also got Echo the Dolphin. And then you got the compilation of These two things came with the Sega CDX. So they're a little bit nostalgic for me. And even though Sonic CD is, I can play it on everything from my phone to my Xbox. I said I wanted that one.
Isn't that the one where you hustled your grandfather? It was like, hey.
I didn't hustle him. He said I could get anything I wanted. And I was in that place and I saw a 3DO. 3DO, I think they wanted like $600-700. I was like, man, I shouldn't ask for that. I kind of want a Sega CDX because I like Sega and I want a Sega CD. And that bitch was $400. And he looked at me like, you little motherfucker. And I was just like, but you said I can get whatever I want. You shouldn't have said that.
You're right. Exactly. You need to be more careful with your
wording.
He
bought it for me. And I only feel bad that I don't have it anymore because I wanted Tobal #1. And I sold it to a friend to buy Tobal #1, which I still have.
Good. But big ups on him for being a man of his word. Because there's plenty of parents that have been like, oh, I know I said you could buy anything, but not that.
Yeah.
You got a limit. He didn't put a limit on you and paid the price for his transgressions.
No, absolutely.
So Legend says, I had to ask, Detroit versus Chicago never gets old. It doesn't, so honestly, when the Lions are kicking y'all ass on the football field this year, I'll definitely be laughing my ass off. But while the White Sox, they totally suck. I 100% kind of want that chocolate shake that they're selling at the park. That looks like it's pretty good. So I would love to try that, something like that. There was a game you were playing a while back. It was made for Sega recently. I think he's talking about Paprium.
Paprium, maybe. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know exactly when, because I haven't streamed in a bit. If you guys want me to come back and start streaming all these games, because I want to play them, and I would love to share my experiences with you. You just got to let me know if you guys want to see me play stuff. And maybe I'll put a list out there of everything it is, and we can figure out what gets played. But right now, I'm trying to finish Dante's Inferno.
You know what? Would it be difficult to stream something like Dante's Inferno?
No, it's not
Because
going
I
to
know
stream anything that's down here.
because I wasn't there some objectionable
There's titties in it.
imagery. Exactly. That's what I was getting like. And
there's a
they're
lot more than
naked.
God of War, a lot more titties than
Right.
God of War, and there's
They're
actually a
naked.
female enemy that bends over backwards and shoots something out of her crotch. So
yo, okay.
Yeah, that would probably be a very difficult.
It might be, but
I don't think it's
on. I don't think it's on Twitch's ban list. There's only like a handful of games.
Interesting. It's interesting. That's not as bad.
Well,
so
you just can't do a YouTube replay of it unless you censor it.
Yeah,
YouTube is probably not going to have an issue either. Like probably because I'm pretty sure there's long plays of Dante's Inferno on YouTube.
Oh no, more than likely. I know YouTube's latest thing is censoring out guns.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's like, come on.
Censoring out guns on first-person shooters, or
I don't know if it's first-person shooters. I know for any time that like a lot of people that do like movie reactions, they have to censor out guns. Like time people are holding guns or whatnot, they literally have to blur it. I'm like, that's annoying from an editor standpoint.
Wow.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno is not on their prohibited games list.
Nice.
There's a lot of stuff I had never heard about. BMX Triple X is.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. We remember that.
Probably the GameCube version, because the GameCube version, funny enough, is the only one that actually had nudity.
It doesn't specify what version. It just says that it's on there. Yeah, so they got some questionable stuff on here. The Guy game is definitely banned because
the Guy game got pulled off shelves.
He got pulled off shelves because somebody who was underage lied and said she wasn't.
Yeah, that's one of those. If you can find a hard copy of that, even
that
a
is worth
copy of that,
money. Yeah.
Well,
big time money.
You might have to be careful trying to sell it. They might be like, "Are you trying to do child pornography?"
You know what?
I think it's ridiculous. She's 17.
Very good point.
She's not a child.
Again, I'm not saying that she isn't. I'm just saying. And the funny thing is, that game was actually kind of cool. It was actually a cool trivia game. It was really well done. It was just, you gotta.
Yeah, the Guy game. You trying to find a
ID
that's $105 loose. Just disc only is $70.
This was a PlayStation 2 game.
PlayStation 2 and
Xbox.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was just a trivia game / Girls Gone Wild. And the thing is, they didn't show any nudity. You had to kind of unlock that. It would say the Guy game over the thing, and then you had to unlock it, and you see them pop their tops if they got like the answers or whatever wrong. But they got pulled because one of the girls lied and said she was 18 and she wasn't. So they pulled the game. I think that's bullshit because she lied.
She lied.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is during the heyday of the Girls Gone Wild type stuff.
Oh, and the late Senator Joe Lieberman was definitely on the warpath for stuff like that.
I'm sorry, but he was the first senator that really, when I was younger, let me know that these mofos don't do nothing. Because he spent his whole career, he made his whole career on hating on video games. I'm like,
yes,
dude,
he did.
Like, dude, there's so many other things you need to be trying to do legislation on.
But he's picking on that 100%. Anyway, y'all, it's 10:30. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here and wrap up the show. You know what, Minority Games? You know what, man? You know what, man?
That was funny.
You know what, man? if I had known you for so long, I say it's on site, man. I say it's on site.
That's funny.
Gonna put me on blast for gonna put me on blast for that. Okay, all right.
We're a hat next time.
Yeah, I don't see you saying some of this stuff to Dado, but you say it to me. Okay, all right.
I cut my own hair, so I'm not gonna fight myself.
Oh man.
baby.
Man, no, that's a good one. That's a good burn. I give you props for that, man. I give you props for that. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Obviously, we hope you all enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
That's what's
We'll be
coming
back.
up.
Yep.
Yes,
this
that's what next. That's
this
next week.
Sunday / Monday.
So we got to. I think we are from the Acolyte is 2 weeks away. So make sure you stay tuned for the next great episode when we talk about it. Teasing a.
Wait.
What?
This month? Okay, this Sunday is the 20th. Hold on, where's the calendar at?
This Sunday is the 26th.
Oh, the Acolyte is on the 4th. Wait.
Yeah, it's on the 4th, so it's that following Tuesday. It's not next Tuesday, it's the following Tuesday.
They're dropping it on Tuesday? That's
Yep.
weird. Okay.
Every Tuesday. Yeah.
2 episode drop. All right. That'll work.
2 episode drop. So anyway, make sure you check out all our socials, facebook.com/culturejunkiesnet for all of our stuff, upcoming shows and stuff like that. Join our Facebook fan group. If you haven't before, you can talk about us in there. If you love anime, wrestling, TVs, games, we're talking about it in there. You got a lot of new members, and the conversation is ticking up. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Anyway, y'all, we hope you enjoy your week. Have a safe and drunk Memorial Day weekend, 3-day weekends. Don't
be promoting that. Somebody get into a crash and be like, the Culture Junkies told me to drink.
But I didn't say drive. Now, did I? I didn't say drive. Use your head. Anyway, y'all, have a great one. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Bye, everybody. I'm gonna wave like this now.